శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమ. ఆపదాం అపహర్తారం దాతారం సర్వసంపదాం లోకాభిరామం శ్రీరామం భూయో భూయో నమామ్యహం. We are trying to understand the various scientific aspects of Valmiki Ramayana. Now let us look into the medicine side of the references in Valmiki Ramayana. Very important aspect was relating to the medicinal plants. If you look at the story and the incident that happened, Indrajit released Brahmastra. As a result of that, entire force except Vibhishan, Jambavanta and Hanumanji got affected. They almost lost their lives. Bhagavan Ram also told Lakshmana that we should also lie down so that this Indrajit will go back. Otherwise he will continue the war and we are not in a position to fight with him. Then Hanumanji was asked by Jambavanti to go to Himalaya Parvatas and reach Dronagiri and from there get the medicinal plants. There is a mountain in the Himalayas with these medicinal plants. This is between Vrishabhagiri and Kailasa Sikhara. There are 4 types of plants. One is Mrata Sanjeevani. Mrata Sanjeevani means Mrutam Sanjeevayati. That means a person who is dead will get the life back. The next one is Visalyakarani. Jevana Anantaram Sanchara Kshamatai Visalyam Karoti. After the person gets the life, this plant Visalyakarani enables the person to move around. So he gets the energy to move around. The third one is Sandhanakarani. Visalya Tute Tvacha Sandhanam Karoti. The person got the life, he got energy to move around. Then the wounds that are there, they get healed. After that, the skin becomes normal. Then the final one, it appears as if there was no wound at all. The skin becomes so normal. The last one is, the fourth one, Savarnyakarni. Tato Vranatuta Vaivarnam Vihaya Pradesanantara Savamyam Karoti. Savanyam Karoti. That means the skin becomes normal and gets the earlier glory. Wherever the wounds were there, the skin becomes normal and the skin gets glory. The glorification happens. How these plants will work? The powder of the roots has to be inhaled by the person. So this is the kind of knowledge we have in terms of healing the people, giving life to the people, giving treatment to the people. Let us look at one more aspect relating to the medicine and the practice of medicine. Lakshmanji was lying down in unconscious state because Ravana released Shakti Ayudha as a result of that. Then Bhagavan Ram was very much worried that Lakshmana is no more. Then Shushena is the medical expert, the, the daughter of Vanarsena. And he gives very good message, happy message to Bhagavan Ram, saying that Lakshman is alive, he is not dead. On what basis he concluded that? He said that the indications are from the face, from the color of the body, from the brightness, normal breathing is there, normal heartbeat is there, hands with presence of blood. So these are the indications that will tell you that the person is alive. So this is the kind of knowledge we used to have. It was described in Ramayana. Let us look into weapons. You know, Vishwamitra gave several weapons to Bhagavan Ram. These are two types, Astra and Shastra. And he also gave mantra. This mantra, Bala and Atibala. What is the benefit of Bala and Atibala? As a result of that, one can win over the tiredness, hunger, sleep and thirst. And why did he give all these weapons to Bhagavan Ram? Welfare of the universe and expansion of the knowledge. He gave chakrams. There are several types of chakrams: Danda, Dharma, Kala, Danda Chakra, Dharma Chakra, Kala Chakra, Vishnu Chakra. Astrams: Indrastram, Vajrastram, Brahmastram, Sironamastram, Varunastram, Shivastram, Narayanastram, Agneya, Vayavya, and Astra that would make one sleep and awake. Brahmastra Prayogam was done by Bhagavan Ram. He was about to do Brahmastra Prayoga on the ocean to make it waterless. And then when Bhagavan Ram was about to release Brahmastra, there were several changes in the situation, in the atmosphere. What were those changes? Complete darkness, reduction in the brightness of the sun rays, major sounds were emanating from the sky, there was disturbance in the rivers and lakes, lightning was happening, and thunderstorms were also there. So this is the kind of impact of Brahmastra around us. So this is similar to the atmospheric changes that would take place when you do nuclear explosion and all. Let us look into the security systems in Lanka as described by Hanumanji. And there are big gates on the four sides, very broad and at considerable height. And he also mentioned about the existence of powerful machines on the gates. These machines are used to rain big rods and arrows on the enemy forces. So whatever we are calling missiles and all, similar kind of technology was there. And then there is deep water on the four sides of the fort, the city rather, with crocodiles and big fish. And hundreds of very dangerous iron cannons were there at each gate. And circular boundary was built. This boundary was built with gold, diamonds, pearls, etc. on all the four sides. Wooden bridges were there on all the four sides. They can be opened and they can be closed with the help of machines again. There is extensive use of machines and machinery during the Ramayana time. And residence of the armed forces is very close to the boundary, like our border security force. So these concepts were there. On the eastern side, 10,000 warriors were there with swords and weapons. On the southern side, 1 lakh warriors were there with horses, elephants, chariots, and the army. On the western side, 10 lakh warriors were there with swords, and they can also use astras. On the northern side, several crores of warriors were there with chariots, horses, and elephants. The central part was full of warriors, about hundreds of thousands of warriors. What kind of damage was done by Hanumanji? Bridges and boundary walls were damaged. Water bodies were filled with bricks and rocks, so that availability of water becomes a problem. And he burnt Lanka. And 1/4 of the defense forces of Ravana got perished. There is very good description of Pushpa Vimana in Valmiki Ramayana. This Pushpa Vimana was built with gold, diamonds, etc. It also had windows. It was built by Vishwakarma, the chief architect of Indra. The floor of Pushpa Vimana was with diamonds. Unimaginable and incomparable. There is nothing to compare with that. And no one can imagine that. It can move anywhere in the sky. How will it move? It moves according to the desire of the owner of the or the person who is occupying that Pushpa Vimana. Manassamadhana Vichara Charinam. This Pushpa Vimana was having dining halls, entertainment halls, meeting halls, and it moves at the pace of air. What is the shape of this Pushpa Vimana? It is like a big mountain. How was it constructed? How was it traveling? So there is so much of science behind that. And there is also the concept of well furnished space there, and for various purposes. That is why it is difficult to imagine and difficult to have some comparison. The next dimension is about the construction of roads, road building. When Bharata decided to go to the forest to convince Bhagwan Ram and get him back to Ayodhya, instructions were given to make the roads good and even. This work was assigned to experts in measurements, and these experts were using balancing tools to take measurements. There are two types of people that were used. One is Yantrakaha, the next one Yantra Kovidaha. Yantraka means the people who use the machines. Yantra Kovida means people who have expertise in use of the machine and maintenance of the machine. Then they also planted trees on both sides of the roads where the trees were not there. Trees were planted. So, shifting trees from one place to another place or whatever we call now, we see nowadays. So that concept was there that time. Bridges were built. So building bridges was also not uncommon those days. On the water flows, wherever Jalapravaha was there, bridges were constructed. Rest houses were constructed. And temples were also constructed. Royal palaces were constructed with complete security arrangement. Now let us look into the concept of shipbuilding and ships, use of ships. Bharata, along with his team, went to the forest to bring back Ramji. 9,000 elephants were there. 60,000 chariots were there. They all reached Sundrivarpur. Guha, the Nishadraj, he arranged 500 ships with 100 naval warriors per ship. If 100 naval warriors were there on the ship, along with all the people, all the elephants, all the chariots and all, imagine the size of the ship, how big it was, how wide it was. There is mention of one particular type of ships known as swastik ship, swastik nava. The construction was so meticulous, the ship was so strong, it can withstand any kind of wind. And there were golden pictures and windows in the ship. Bullock carts, bullocks, horses, chariots, material, they all these were carried on some ships. Horses that were used by the warriors were carried on other ships. And some people used small boats for all this material, and other people, big ships were used. So this is the kind of shipmaking, shipbuilding was an important activity those days. It's not that we have started it recently. We all know Ram Setu was constructed. It was built by Nala. Nala is the son of Viswadharma. The entire bridge on the ocean, Ram Setu, of 100 yojanas, was completed in 5 days, not like current day flyovers and all. What was the material that was used to construct the bridge? Different types of trees were used, mountains, rods. These rods were of the size of the elephant. And then the question is, how did they get all these mountains and rods to the spot to construct the bridge? They said these mountains and rods were brought on machines, with the help of machines. So ropes were also used. Measurement ropes were used to measure the length and width and other aspects. 100 yojanas length, 100 yojanas width, 100 into 100. There is a mention about construction of a palace under the water. This was done by Mandakani Muni using his tapasshakti. And he did tapas for 10,000 years with just taking water and air. And this lake that was constructed under the This lake was having water in all the four seasons. And the palace was constructed under the lake, below the lake, with all amenities for leading a comfortable life along with entertainment. So, how did he get it constructed? That is the important aspect. Kumbhakaran came to the battlefield. Kumbhakaran was a ferocious, gigantic personality. The Vanaras got scared and started running away. Then Andada tells them that don't get scared. You are thinking that it's a human being. No, it is not a human being. It is an artificial shape that was created to make you all fearful. So don't get scared. It is not a man, it is a machine. That's what Angada said. Vibhishana also said the same thing. That means what we are calling now robot. So this concept was there in Ramayana time. Let us now look into the aspects of town planning. Ayodhya Nagara is the capital of Kosala Desa. Ayodhya Nama Nagari Manuna Manavendrena Nirbhita Swayam. It was constructed by Manu on the banks of Saryu River. 12 yojanas length and 8 yojanas width. 1 yojana means 8 miles. That means about 13 kilometers. The streets were very broad with trees on both the sides. Look at the concern they used to have for environmental protection, greenery. Rajpatha, very broad. You find trees on both the sides with flowers. There were gates and doors. And then there were shops at the center of the town. It is like the concept of central business district. And machines were there and weapons were fixed using the machines. Agriculture. The fortress in Ayodhya under the rule of Dasharatha Maharaja, focus on agriculture, livestock, mineral resources was there. Clearly it was mentioned that agriculture was not just rain dependent. There were water facilities were there provided. Irrigation facilities were provided. So the irrigation system was prevalent even during Ramayana time. And during Dasharatha's time, and of course it continued during Bhagavan Ram's time also, protection of the people who are involved in agriculture, livestock and commerce was given importance. Comfort and peace for people who are involved in agriculture, livestock and commerce. There was mention about several other aspects like Vastu Shastra, Jyotish Shastra, Swapna Shastra, Samudra Shastra, Suguna Shastra, war strategies, communication skills, counseling skills, motivation skills, political and public administration, governance related principles, law and justice, the economy related, the finance related, several aspects are there in Valmiki Ramayana. It is a rich treasure. It is the national epic of our Bharat Desha. And when we talk about the Indian knowledge systems, we should look into Ramayana, Mahabharata and other Sanatan Vanmaya, and to get benefit of the best practices that were prevalent even during those days, the scientific aspects, the management aspects, and the principles that are there. And we should try to adopt those to have a better, situation for everybody. Swasti.